Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Thomas Clan. So, as was requested by my friends at the Westfield Grows Facebook page, I'm making a video right now detailing my winter, my hot box, my winter box, so that way we're still growing veggies over here in the Thomas Clan garden. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically explain how I've built everything, what's in it. It's not really going to be a how-to video since it's all already done. But next year, if I'm making any new ones, I'll definitely new boxes. I'll definitely do a how-to video then. So the way that I basically did it, which I'll give you a quick view here, and I'll give you a more full view in 1 second. What I basically did was I went to local hardware store, local lumber store, and I nailed the bottom part of the box, which was just 2x8 boards nailed together, create a nice square frame. It's 16 square feet, by the way. It's a 4x4, and then put it on top of a built-up elevated a raised bed, put it on top, and then filled some dirt inside. What I did was organic garden soil along with organic humus and actually some organic compost from our compost piles. Mixed that all together, which I then watered. When I planted the seeds, I watered down with water mixed with the Reviver X liquid fertilizer, and I also put in trifecta granulated fertilizer, so that way there's both the fast acting, the liquid fertilizer, and the slow acting, the encapsulated slow release fertilizer. Then I planted the seeds, and then what I did was I covered the whole thing with a white sheet for a while until all of the veggies sprouted, started to grow, which I did that back in September. I think I did like a quick Facebook Live saying, hey, I'm doing this, I'm making this. So then as the cooler weather started to come, which by the way, I'm so happy, it's November 6th right now, and I'm outside comfortably in a t-shirt. I love it. Definitely helping the veggies grow. So anyway, we have had some cold nights, and so what I did was I built a box. I actually used scrap wood that was just laying around the yard from the previous tenants in the home where we live, and I made the box, and then I spent about $7, I think, on the shrink wrap, and just wrapped it up and wrapped it up nice and thick, especially on the top. You know, where now it's basically no air, no wind is getting in there, snow nor rain, nothing's getting in there, so it's pretty well safe inside. So I'm gonna let you take a quick look, and I'm gonna show you what I've been doing around it to help insulate, and then we're gonna pop the top, and I'll show you the inside very quickly. I don't want to leave the top open too long. The main reason why is because you want it to be warmer inside than it is outside, because, well, winter's coming. Now this is a great thing that you can do, by the way, if you're at home. You know, a winter box like this, you could add easily 4 to 6 weeks onto the end, and probably as much as 4 weeks onto the beginning of your growing season in that space. What I'm hoping for, I mean, we're already 3 weeks late into our past the normal end of the growing season, and things are still doing really well. So I'm hoping that this can go to like mid-December, where I can get some good veggies in out of the winter box. So let's take a look, and I'll show you around, and then I'll pop the top so you can see inside. Right, so this is the front, or what I've made the front. And that, as I've already explained, you have the 2x8 inch board on bottom, which on the inside there's about 2 inches of dirt, and then the height of the top of the open top is 12 inches. So you have about 18 inches of airspace inside for the veggies to grow. So that way there's plenty of space, plenty of light gets in as well. Generally, I would have recommended doing a 2x10 and filling it 3 to 4 inches, just so that way it's a little bit more separated from the outside. But you know, this is being rental property, we're not going to live here for too much longer, so I didn't want to go too extravagant. I also would have recommended a slightly taller, a slightly more space on the top part with the glass, or in this case shrink wrap. Just being careful not to do too much, because you don't want to have too much space and have it get cold, but at the same time this is kind of about the smallest that you want to go, and keep the plants separated from the sides and from the top, so that way they don't freeze. So I did start to winterize the other day, so I'm going to take you around the side here and show you what I'm doing. Is I am mixing the leaves that have fallen along with some of our compost that isn't completely aged yet, and some other dirt to go around. And basically what my plan is to go the entire height of the lower boards, and go out between 12 to 18 inches from the side to thoroughly insulate. Now, one thing that I am doing with the compost is it's going to keep composting the materials a little bit longer into the year, in which I'll also be throwing fresh compost on it as long as I can. The fresh, the veggie cuttings from inside and whatnot, just to keep it going a little longer, to help to further insulate. Now, on the inside, before I pop the top here, I did put down some more fresh compost when I started winterizing, as well as some leaves to kind of mulch, as well as kind of blanket the plants as well, give them more nutrients, and again to help keep that temperature up. You'll notice if you're looking at the sides, it looks pretty cloudy. It's kind of like a terrarium. If you ever had a terrarium growing up, the moisture inside gets very, very, will warm up, will start to evaporate, gets caught in there. And so it's almost like it has its own whole weather system. Another reason why you don't want the top lifted on this too much. So I'm going to pause the video a second. I'm going to lift off the top, and then I'll show you guys inside. Propped open the top here to give you a shot of the inside. Now you can see I've pretty well lined around the outside with leaves, except for up here I've put, you got parsley. We have oregano growing in this corner, and actually there's some oregano growing down here too. I don't know why I covered it, but we do have oregano growing down here as well in the corner. It's probably just in a rush and wasn't paying attention. I did have lettuce growing here, but because of the lack of light, it wasn't doing very well, as well as the spinach. You can see some of the spinach over there, but it wasn't doing extremely well, so I just decided to kind of cover it. Then I got arugula over in the corner. These are dwarf Taylor horticulture beans, which are beans from what I grew in the garden. You can see, they're already getting tall. They're actually getting ready to start flowering on some of these plants, which is just fantastic. I've got carrots, both red and green cabbage, and then beets are growing actually very well. They're doing better in here than they were doing outside of the garden. Outside in the garden in the better season, go figure. But I think that's just the better quality soil. I also do have some cilantro growing, if you can see it over there near the beets, which actually I didn't originally intend to have cilantro in this garden, in the winter garden, but they were actually seeds that fell when the cilantro was going over nearby, which I'll actually show you. They're still growing wild out here, exposed as well. They're actually doing pretty well. I've actually pulled a bunch and been eating them. So that's pretty much all that's in there. The carrots, the cabbage, and the beets are what I'm most interested in. The beans is kind of an experiment. Then the parsley, oregano, you can always do quite a bit with. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. Just a quick review. You can see how I've put the leaves around the outside, just to keep it, just trying to create as much insulation as I can. And as I said earlier, I did put some extra composted dirt in here as well, just to, as a compost, it creates heat, but then also there's a lot of nutrients for the plants as well. They're doing very, very well. So that's all for this video. I'd like to send a shout out to my friends at Westfield Grows, who have been very, very supportive as I've been making these videos this year. And I hope that they, as well as all of you at home, enjoy the videos as once we get them redesigned, and we're putting out new videos here in the next couple of months. So again, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Check us out on Facebook. You can also follow us on Instagram. Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye.